I don't know if you picked up on this news where I understand now the second soldier already who was dismissed from his fighting unit, one who was put into jail for this huge, terrible crime he had on his sleeve, a patch which just says Honored Mashiach. Now, I don't want to go into the whole issue, discipline, so on. That's not my point. But why does a soldier want to have a patch Mashiach on his sleeve? Let's discuss this in a moment from the perspective of the parsha of this week. But before that, thank you, Hashem, for protecting all these wonderful soldiers, these selfless, dedicated soldiers. Mizmor l'soid aril adonai kol haaretz ivdu es adonai b'simcha, bo lefanav b'nana duk adonai leimu asanu v'lo nachnam v'tzam marisai, bo yishor b'soid achatzrois b'sila hoydele baruch shemoi, ki toiv adonai le'olam chazdoi v'yadoi v'dorem u'nosoi. Let's give some charity, my dear friends. Now, at the end of the Torah portion of this week's Parsha Shlach, we find the mitzvah of tzitzis, those fringes. What does the Torah say? Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, and God says to Moshe Rabbeinu, Daber el bnei Yisrael, I'm skipping, V'osu lahem tzitzis al kanfi vigdeihem, l'doiroisom. They should make, as it translated here in English, they should make for themselves a tassel on the four corners of their garments, throughout their generations. And then it goes on to say how it is, and the pasuk says, you will look at them, you will see them, and this will remind you of all the godly commandments. Two interesting points which I want to focus on here. Al-kanfi vigdeim ledoiroisom, on the corners of their garments, throughout their generations. What's the idea over here, throughout their generations? And then it says, you will look at them, and this will remind you all the mitzvahs of the 630 mitzvahs. It's been an amazing phenomena. After October 7, the soldiers who went into battle, they asked, they all want to have tzitzis. What is the tzitzis? The talis cotton, the garment, the four-cornered garment, and on the corner, you're supposed to have what we call the fringes, the tzitzis, made out of 8 strings, so many knots, etc. Hundreds of thousands of tzitzis, of those tzitzis, were distributed to soldiers. I know actually Montreal itself, one individual took it upon himself and he sent 1,000 of these tzitzis to Eretz Yisrael. He had yeshiva boys sitting days and days just to make those fringes. It takes time to string them. Why? We're not talking about observant soldiers who anyway wear the tzitzis and anyway wear this garment, anyway put on the talis and the tefillin. Some have it, you also have those tzitzis on the talit for your prayer shawls. What does this represent? So I think it's in these two words. You will look at them, this will remind you all the mitzvahs. It's a garment which envelops you. It's a garment which surrounds you. So this reminds us that we are surrounded by a holy garment, by a godly garment. On the four corners, wherever a Jew is, he has to remember that he's protected by this garment. No, it's not a physical protection. It's not a vest, a bulletproof vest, a physical bulletproof vest. But it has a better protection. It has the godly protection. Knowing that we are completely enveloped in the 630 mitzvot, even if we don't necessarily do them, But we know that we are surrounded, and this is who we are, and this is our garment, and this is our expression, and this is our faith. As it says, L'doiroisam, for all generations. It's not that we live in an isolated unit now, here, that we have a long chain, the chain going back all the way from coming out of Egypt and from Avraham Avinu. And maybe just to throw this in, this is what the Mashiach patch is all about, to tell us that there's an unbroken chain from the coming out of Egypt, linking us all the way to coming to Mashiach. And that's why, consciously, subconsciously, these soldiers asked for the tzitzis. And let's not wait for moments of crisis to remember that God is the one who's protecting